Salute to you all. The brave never fall. I remember a long time ago when I was much younger, far less knowledgeable about who I was as a person. And I think as a human being, we all can relate to that type of mindset, all those memories that come back to you when you try to relive the stories that you failed at or you weren't so great at. All those days and nights where you spent time thinking and thinking and thinking when you could have been taking action. Those are some of the moments, if I could go back and change about myself, it would be the taking action part and not so much as being aggressive with so much like with schooling and family relationships and just, jobs, careers, whatever you can think of in your mind that you could fail at, things that you could be better at, even the extracurricular things. And I was heavy into music and I was heavy into film. I dabbed into each little thing, kind of just tapping my toe in there to see if that's what I really wanted to do for a living, to be happy. And what I ended up doing was combining all of the things that I kind of tapped my toe into one big thing. It's almost like, the Megazord from Power Rangers. I just took all the best elements of myself and combined them into one giant robot, and that is what I'm doing now. However, looking back on it, there was one thing I was missing, and it was the ability to just stay in the moment. And not only stay in the moment, assess what is my action in this moment, and am I taking action versus hoping action comes towards me, gives me the light, the path. And that inaction adds up. It affects you in ways that you don't even think about. And it affected me the heaviest with my confidence. It was really the bridge between me being a beta male and an alpha male. It was the door that was perpetually closed for me to go through for my awakening. In my awakening, that's when I realized that I wanted to be more. And wanting to be more, I realized I had to take action. Part of the awakening was realizing none of this shit's going to happen to me if I don't step forward, take action, and lead by example to others. I knew I was a leader. I've always known I was a leader. I was just afraid to take the steps to really become one. I kind of led. I led by example, but I would never just take the reins of groups and situations I was in and just say, hey, let's get after it. It's not about telling people what to do. It's not about being right. It's about taking action, following the leaders, saying, you know what? I want to be closer to the people who do this best. That's taking action, not wasting moments, meaning, I don't feel like doing this. Do it anyway. Do what's uncomfortable. You'll get comfortable with doing things that make you uncomfortable. I had to learn that over time. And all this is time. I think the biggest, hardest thing I had to come to terms with was that I have to know I can do all this stuff alone. But sitting there not doing anything is not helping. No one is 100% correct at anything. When somebody gives you advice, that's their opinion. They're not right. They're not wrong. It's just something that they offer up to you. It's up to you to decide what tools you want to bring to your tool shed and what project are you working on with those tools. It's up to you to create your own happiness, create your own path through your career. Of course, we all have helping hands along the way. We all have situations and people where we know we can count on them and rely on them to make sure we don't get too far off course. But do you really want to rely on people to make sure you don't get off course? Or would you be far more comfortable with just focusing on yourself being on course and then just taking on all that positive energy and knowledge and wisdom from other people who are leaders? We will always be followers. You will never be the true leader. So why act like it? There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know shit. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm a procrastinator. I have no confidence. I'm afraid. I'm paranoid. I have anxiety. I don't have any self-discipline or self-control or self-respect or self-love for myself. There's nothing wrong with saying any of those things. What's wrong is when you portray a life of some mirror that you taped up to yourself and you hope people see themselves and not you. Now, that's that projection thing. It's like, hey, I want you just go worry about you, and I'll kind of worry about me over here, and I'll let you know when I want you to see me. When I'll take the mirror down, you just look at yourself over here. I'm just gonna hide. And can you help me? Can every once in a while, I'm gonna peek behind the mirror. I'm just gonna look at you. I'm gonna say, hey, I need some help back here. Can you give me a help? Can you give me some help? Can you aid me in this? Just put the mirror down. Step out and turn the mirror around and look at your own reflection in the mirror. You don't want to be like other people. You don't want to walk around hoping other people see you the way that they see themselves. And you certainly don't want to project your stuff on anyone else. And this goes back to the action moment. Or I should say, what's your action in every moment? Are you taking action? You just ask yourself a question. Again, nobody's writing this. This is just questions I ask myself all the time. And one of the questions I ask myself is, you have time to do something of value right now that could literally make you smarter physically. It can make you harder and better than you were before at your running, at your functional fitness. You have time to communicate with someone, to emotionally get more impactful and powerful in your life. Again, gaining that knowledge, and you have time to become more spiritual. You can reflect on things. You have time to do these things. What are you doing in this moment? Now, there's nothing wrong with having downtime. There's no such thing as not having downtime. Everybody deserves a little downtime, especially if you earned it, if you worked for it. There's a different feeling between, I finally get to relax here, and I think I've relaxed enough. Why am I still sitting here? In those moments where you could be doing something, and you're procrastinating or you're putting something off because you either don't want to do it or you have no confidence that you're going to create anything or do anything of value, would you rather just jump on it and do something? Get something going. No matter what it is. Just do something that's in that realm of adding value to your life. Or do you want to sit there and think about why you should not be doing it, or you're hating yourself because you aren't doing it? Isn't it easier just to do it and get it over with? Because most of the time, human beings, we all know this. Even the things you just don't want to do, if you just start it, you most likely are going to finish it or come close, or you're going to gain some big chunk of knowledge out of it. You're going to run an extra mile. You're going to feel better after you've done it. That's what's so great about doing it. And I think people miss out on it. It's almost like having your own little personal, just like a bucket of joy that you open up and you just dump it all over you. And it's free. You don't have to buy it. It's there whenever you want it. And it's called being aggressive with your time. Acknowledging that your time is valuable and saying, let me see what I can accomplish today. And I don't want to accomplish just one thing. Let's see truly, literally how much I can accomplish today. From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. And yes, one of those accomplishments is going to be me earning my relaxation time today. That's part of the package. That's what gets me through the day, is knowing that it's not going to be the majority of my day, but an hour or 2 out of the day, I'm going to get to do exactly what I want to do, and nobody can say anything about it because I've done everything else that I'm supposed to do. Not that I'm so much worried about what other people think, because ultimately no one knows you better than you know yourself. The point is, taking action in the moment adds to self-discipline the more you do it. If you're conscious of the fact that you can do anything in each moment, no matter what you're doing, and every minute of what you're doing, you are doing it with purpose, intention, self-discipline, and control. And you're looking at it only on the positive side. If it's not positive, you're not doing it. Again, no one's right. Everybody's different. This is just how I do it. And I think sometimes in life, when people are looking for other people to try to show them how to do things, you see this all the time in life. People are constantly looking for information on how to do things differently than what they're doing. These people already know what they're doing. They're just looking for something extra, right? The problem is, some people will take one aspect of any type of action and run with it. And then they get disappointed when it doesn't work out for them the same way that they saw it worked out for other people. And I think that's because people are so closed-minded and so quick to get results that they don't take the time to see as many different points of views and all the different stories and lives that these people have lived in life. There are so many people who do so many things that are similar yet so fundamentally different that you should never stop listening to other people's stories and how they do things. And that's why I offer up The Brave Never Fall. It's just another voice out there with all the other voices shouting, hey, the more you hear stuff like this, the more you're going to learn more about yourself. It's not so much about telling somebody something, how to do something right. It's about offering up an ideal that someone can challenge their ideals against and say, that may work for me, or that's not for me. Therefore, I still learn something about myself, even though I don't like what this person said, or I don't agree with this person said. A person with self-love will see an opposing argument or a new way of doing things in that light. That's how I do it. I try to listen to as many people as possible without judgment, because I know regardless of whatever someone offers up as far as advice or their opinion, whatever their point of view is, I'm going to learn something about myself either way. I'm either going to learn a big chunk of knowledge that I didn't know about myself that I want to add, or I'm going to learn something about myself that I want to stay away from. And either way, what's the thing that kind of holds all that together? It's you in the moment recognizing your value and listening. Too often people are so quick to tell people what they've learned, they don't stop to listen to actually learn themselves. You're not always the more knowledgeable person in every conversation, even with people who you follow. There are leaders who will learn from you. Why? Because they are still followers. And that right there is super powerful to think about. That means everybody's equal. That means we're all free yet connected. Every leader has something to learn. They are constantly learning. And they also learn from their followers. And that circles us back to taking moment in the action. Taking moment in the action. Taking action in the moment. When you're present in the moment, you'll recognize that. You'll recognize, I need to zip my lips and listen to what this person has to say. And the ego will play with certain people and they'll say, I don't believe a word this person's saying. Or how can I trust what this person's saying? You don't have to believe what they're saying. You don't have to trust what they're saying. You have to believe you are smart enough and trust in yourself that you are knowledgeable enough to screen through whatever they're spitting at you. The only way you can do that, you have to truly know who you are. What's your moral foundation? Are you connected and balanced mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Because when you do that, especially coming from a place of self-love for yourself, the stuff that is positive will come through the filter. The stuff that is negative will get bounced back to them. Because you don't take on projected energy from other people. You don't take on projected opinions and things in a way where you're going to be influenced and changed and molded into a different person because one particular person or even a group of people are constantly feeding you information. You're just kind of, without even knowing it, subconsciously taking all this in. And it's a very dangerous, real thing that happens to a lot of people who do not know who they are. They are shaped and molded by other people without even realizing it. And often they don't realize it until it's extremely far too late. And now they're in a crisis and there's chaos surrounding them and they don't know what the hell to do because they've taken all this random tornado of shit from all these people, most of which they don't know or respect anyway, or if they put too high on a pedestal, they've been following followers of followers of followers. They never found themselves a true leader who still follows another true leader. Power comes from within. To emit energy, you have to start at the core. This earth will not exist without the core. You are no different. Everything has to start from somewhere. Taking action in who you are helps with dealing with people. And I'm focusing more on people than, because some people think taking action always means that you got to do something. Taking action sometimes means sitting back and allowing things to happen around you, and you get to dictate what you want out of life in regards to all that stuff going on around you. Sometimes taking action is not doing anything at all. Sometimes taking action means not doing anything at all. And I think that's something a lot of people don't realize. If that type of mentality kind of hits you in a way where, or that type of thing can hit you, I suggest you do go and read. And again, this is not, when I say something like this doesn't mean you should do this because I'm telling you this is the perfect way of doing it. This is, again, just something that you should be listening to. And if it hits you the right way, you move forward on your own. This has nothing to do with me. This message has nothing to do with me. If you're listening to this, this is about you taking on the knowledge. In Tao, the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, who I follow, which is my spiritual core, Tao, we learn that. We understand as followers of Tao that inaction in the correct way is equal to action, depending on what's going on and where you are in life and how you react to other things around you. Because life is, obviously is about reacting to things. We can take control of quite a bit of our lives in each day. Quite a bit. But there will always be things where it's going to pop up where you're going to have to react to it. But even in those reactions, you are still in control of your action in that moment. You ever see somebody who looks like they are just on their shit? They got it down. They know what to do. They say all the right words. They do all the right things. But in the moments where the things start to heat up, and maybe they don't know what to do, or they're taking the wrong advice from the wrong people. They've been following followers of followers of followers and not followers of leaders. These people suddenly turn into basket cases. And they have long-term negative effects and consequences based on these people being super comfortable in not understanding the true value in each moment that they have in life. Now, that's a long-winded way of saying these people thought they knew who they were. These people thought they were being aggressive. These people thought and truly believed that they knew what they were doing until something reminds them that they didn't. And the only reason why that happens is because ultimately, when you are trying to put yourself in a position where you want to be a better person, you're not going to just automatically assume you know everything or know how to get out of every situation. You're not going to do that. If people come to you for help, you're going to offer up help. But most of the time, people who really know themselves know when to shut the fuck up and just listen and take in the message. Take in the value from everything that's going on around them. They never assume they know how to do everything, even going into chaotic situations where people who feel like they know how to do everything or think they can just buy their way out of everything, smart, smooth talk themselves out of everything, be passive aggressive, narcissistic. You find these people struggle because they have a false sense of confidence that they believe they can just weasel their way out of everything because they truly don't understand who they are. So they have to rely on these other things to get them out of situations. And if they don't have those other things, they're basket cases. Now all of a sudden the world turns into a twisted tornado. They've relied too much on their money, on their car, on their material things, on their relationships, on their careers, on their beauty, on their trust fund, on how many likes they get on social media, how much money they have in the bank. They never stop to consider if all that went away, would they be the same person without all that than they would be with it? Those people didn't take enough time in the moments where they had their free time to really explore who they are. They rested when they should have been learning more. They were too busy leading mindless followers than trying to mindlessly follow leaders. And I didn't say mindlessly like you're supposed to be a zombie. It's called surrendering to a higher knowledge, something that you don't know. You're aspiring to learn as much as you can about yourself and those around you. You can't learn anything from people who are following you and putting you on a pedestal when you haven't a clue of who you are. But you're very comfortable taking from these people. Another thing that I love about living in the moment is that you often find when you are truly comfortable with yourself, you're far more likely to give than to receive. And it pays in dividends. When you give and don't ask for anything in return, when you offer up things of value, people will tell you, well, if you offer up too much with value and for free, how do you get value out of it? Because people will return that value to you monetarily, with time, with knowledge. You meet people in relationships. It all works itself out that way. If you have something for value that you offer for free, eventually someone will pay for it. That's just the way it goes. The more you do that, the more you put yourself into situations where you're doing things that you love, and you have self-discipline and self-control about it, and you understand your purpose, and you truly are committed to awakening and living in your purpose, you'll find that your value will be returned with endless value. You have more value than coming at you than you can handle sometimes. But you have to get to a place where you even understand what value actually is for yourself, not for what other people define for you, not for what your past experiences have defined with you, what your career path or your relationship path or your whatever it is you're seeking out of life, what could be, what has been, what is what is important. What are you right now? Take away all the stuff that you've earned from other people. Take away all the houses and material things and cars and relationships. Who are you at your core? What are you creating for yourself that's powerful and impactful, that has value, that other people can benefit from, and it puts you in a position to learn more from other high value people? That takes action and commitment to yourself to do that. If there's something you want, you have to get up and get it. Be aggressive. I would rather be far more aggressive and have to reel it back in than for somebody to have to pull me towards something that I should be running towards myself. I shouldn't have to have someone else tell me, hey, you should really get to work on this. If I'm passionate about it, I should never have to hear those words from someone else. In fact, I should be telling myself, okay, you're overdoing it. I'd rather reel it back than have to try to force myself to do something I claim I'm passionate about. You have to be aggressive about the value of yourself. You have to be aggressive about finding your self-love. Nobody says you have to go out and kill yourself every day. That's not what everyone is saying. Some people do. I like a little bit of struggle and uncomfortableness in my life. It actually helps me. And people will tell me all the time, maybe that's not for you, but hey, everybody's not cut from the same cloth. David Goggins will tell you that. He does what works for him. I do what works for me. I'll take on what I need to know. I'll keep the pieces that I need through the filter of positivity and value. And the rest, I'll keep in the closet, or I'll write down, and I'll come back to it later. The things that I know I need in the moment will stick. If my mind, my heart, my soul, and my body are in the right space, the right mindset to actually take on the true commitment of fulfilling a purpose-filled life versus taking on the commitment of hoping things work out for me. You got to constantly be working on yourself. There is no end. There is no end. The people who figure that out the quickest in life seem like they are the ones who have a much greater chance of living a very true, fulfilled, purpose-filled life with ups and downs. Because no matter how great you get in value, how much self-love you have, you're always going to have ups and downs. That's part of life. How are you reacting to that? What are your actions in those moments when those peaks and valleys happen? Who are you at every turn of the day, even? Are you moody one hour and then pissed off the next? There's a reason behind that. Are you even exploring the true reasoning why that's happening? Or do you cover them up with drugs and alcohol and sex and exercise, and you're just doing whatever you can, video games, movies, whatever you can to escape? Or are you saying, no, I want to explore more? Even what I'm doing right now, you could do whatever it takes. You write it down, you get whatever that is materializing in your body out of you. Do the work, consistently do the work. Even if you have to go in a room, close the door, and talk to yourself for 2 hours straight, you do whatever it takes to get that conflict out into the physical world. But again, right now, in this moment, every moment that goes by, the moment you'll never get back. And those moments add up. These are your moments right now. You can feel them. Just take in the space around you. Right now, what are you feeling about yourself? Who are you? Are you proud of who you are? Is there more of you than what you're giving to yourself, to your future self? There is no end. Who are you? And are you taking action in the moment when it counts? Only you know the answer to that question. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.